So today I'll be reviewing and comparing fake Copic markers that I bought from China with the real Copic markers. So let's get into it. So the markers that we're gonna be talking about today are called FINECOLOUR markers, and I got them from Banggood. What came to me in the mail are those two plastic boxes filled with markers, which right off the bat look identical to the ones that Copic markers come in. The set that I got was supposed to have 72 pieces, and it obviously does, but the markers just come divided into two boxes, 36 pieces each. When it comes to the price comparison, I got the set of fake markers for around $73 for 72 pieces, which makes it to about $1 per marker, but for the same amount of real Copic markers, you would need to pay around $320. So the difference is pretty huge. So now let's take a closer look at the actual marker. I mean, you guys, they look almost identical to Copic's. Not only did FINECOLOUR rip off the shape and the color of the barrel, but they also copied the writings on the marker, including the barcode. The whole layout is identical, and that's crazy. If we look at the color caps, we won't get disappointed either. They again managed to copy exactly everything. We're getting a number indication mixed with the letter indicating the color family, and under that there is an actual color name, just like on the Copic markers. The only major difference between the real Copics and the fake ones is, of course, the brush nib. The fake markers only have a point tip and a chisel tip, which is very standard for any cheap markers out there. And now let's take a quick look on the color scheme. It looks like we're getting a nice variety of shades, but I'm afraid that, like always with cheap markers, we won't get any nice skin tones. So I quickly made my own color chart and I swatched all the shades. And right away I can tell that I'm not super happy with the color scheme. We do get some skin tone shades, but I would say they are a little bit too saturated. Like for example the first two shades on top of the paper, the peachy ones, they are definitely way too peachy for lighter skin tones. The brown shades are quite decent. I think that they would make for a nice darker complexion, and what I can definitely say is that for my personal taste there's way too much blue and green shades and definitely way too much grays. I think that no one needs such a big variety of grays when you're getting only 72 colors. I think that 7 or 8 shades of gray would be more than enough. So now let's move on to the practical part of today's video, drawing. And like always with marker reviews, I already prepared the sketch that I'm gonna be coloring, and today, as you can probably tell, I drew a VSCO girl. I'm really not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm sure you guys know what I mean. And well, you have been requesting that I draw this kind of girl for a good while, so I thought that today's video will be just perfect for that. So well, VSCO girl that is. But first of all, I will need some solid black outline for my sketch, so I'm taking one of my most favorite fine liners lately, and I'm just going over the whole sketch and thickening up some particular lines and just refining those most precise ones. So nothing extraordinary here, just my standard procedure. Once I'm done with that, I'm gonna erase the excessive pencil lines to leave my sketch clean and ready to apply some color. So like I always do, I'm starting off with coloring the skin because I feel like when you do this part first, it kind of sets the vibe for your whole drawing. Because if you pick the wrong shade for your skin complexion, the one that you weren't ready for, let's say, then you might not be willing to continue on with this drawing, so that's why I'm coloring the skin first. And here, like I was expecting, the marker that I thought will be the best for light complexion was a little bit too peachy and a little bit too intense. So even though it doesn't look terrible, if I were to pick something else, I would definitely go for something less saturated and slightly more pale. Anyway, once I started layering the colors and blending them together, I was positively surprised that those markers don't leave any streaks or undesired strokes when you try to blend them together. So, well, they get 1 point on that. And obviously, we need to take into account the fact that when the markers don't have the brush nib, it's slightly more difficult to blend them together and to have that effortless blending of one color into each other. But here, even though we're not getting a brush nib, it wasn't that much of a struggle to blend colors into each other, so I was really glad about that. And even though the color selection for the 72 pieces set wasn't the best one in my opinion, I would much rather prefer to have way more skin tone shades and some pastel shades than a variety of greens, blues and greys, like I said in the beginning of the video. But this color scheme is still not the worst that I've seen when it comes to cheap markers, so if you're fine with this color selection, I would give these markers a try. However, I want to talk about a very important aspect of those FINECOLOUR markers. I'm really all about the cheaper dupes of the products when they are not trying to imitate and pretend to be the actual original products, like it is in this example of those FINECOLOUR markers. They are obviously pretending and trying really hard to be mistaken for Copics, and this is something that I really don't appreciate. I really love and appreciate when brands are trying to make something affordable, but they are trying to come up with their own design and their own color scheme, their own color signatures, and they are not trying really hard to pretend they are something they're not. So I would be much happier if those FINECOLOUR markers that I'm reviewing today had a little bit different packaging and if they were their own unique product and not just a Copic ripoff. And now let's pause for a second because I really want to show you guys how the drawing looks when it's only done with markers. This is the blending of the colors that I was able to achieve using only the FINECOLOUR markers, and I think it's pretty decent for what those markers are. And now I'm just gonna finish off the drawing adding colored pencils like I always do, because for me this is good, but I want my drawing to be really refined and polished, so well, I'm gonna add some colored pencils to it. my final conclusion. Those markers are definitely not Copic dupes. They are indeed quite decent alcohol-based markers, but they aren't lying anywhere near Copics. So if you guys want something affordable, something fun to try out, then maybe you should give them a go. But if you don't want to support a company that is clearly ripping off Copic design, then maybe instead buying those 72 FINECOLOUR markers, you can try to save up some money and buy maybe 5, maybe 10 of real Copics and support the brand and get a high quality and professional product. But I'm leaving that up to you. I really hope that you enjoyed my today's video and that you like the drawing that I created, and well, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the topic that we were talking about today. I'm really curious to know what do you guys think about those kind of dupes, rip-offs and copies of the original products. Let me know down below. And well, I'll be wrapping up for now, so thank you guys so much for watching, and well, I'll be seeing you very soon. Bye!
I'm just going with the gut, never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now.